no stopping me. Heading to the top, never gonna stop. Can't make me stop. Unstoppable. 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 As I rise, it's no surprise. I'm your fear in the flesh, can't make me stop. Heading to the top, never gonna stop, can't make me stop. Unstoppable.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the new episode of Illustra Coffee, our weekly lives. My name is Victor Boyden, and I am a freelance illustrator with more than 17 years of experience. And my mission here is to help you to get your next illustration client. My mission here is to help you to have a healthy relationship with your career and for you to keep always motivated and growing in illustration, even in the age of AI. This is our subject here, our theme here. Today I'm going to be talking about the relationship of the illustrators, of us artists, with AI. I'm not going to try to say how things are going to happen in the future because I don't have a crystal ball here. But my intention here is to have an open conversation. So feel free to comment on the chat who is live here with me. If you're listening to the recording on YouTube or on Spotify, leave your comments. Let's have this conversation open, this discussion open, okay? And I want to thank you, everyone. We are more than 200 people, 200 subscribers on YouTube, so I'm really thankful for that. My goal here is to reach the first 1K subscribers. So if you're not subscribed yet to the channel, please do this now so you're not going to miss anything in the future. Okay? So guys, let's talk about living with AI. First, I'm going to be saying why I have chosen to not use AI on my creative work. Okay? I use AI on a daily basis, but not on the illustration part. Okay? I use to help me write emails, to answer emails, for me to on my thoughts and to develop thoughts, but never on the illustration, never on my art, okay? Because there's something that only we artists understand. I believe that no other profession can understand this. Only we know what is the feeling of starting a new drawing, of the feeling of our hand touching the paper or touching the heat of the iPad on our hand, something for our modern times, yeah. But again, that feeling of the pixels taking form in front of our eyes. I have such strong opinion about this, the use of AI on my art, that if someday, if our profession, our career takes to a place that we are obliged, we must use AI. I prefer, if we reach that part, I prefer to stop doing this professionally. Then I would migrate from illustration to art itself. Yeah, because there's so much things more than the final result. So many things besides the final results. And see, the human connection, we as humans, we are moved by human connections. And human connections doesn't move only our profession. Yeah, it moves us as human beings. It's our essence. And for me, in my opinion, the best way for us to make a connection with another human being, with another man, another woman, with a child, with an elderly person, is through art. And it can be musician, it can be musician, no. It can be music, it can be theater, it can be sports. I don't know. Have you guys seen those documentaries or those streamings of robots fighting? You know those ones with scissors and hammers, and they are destroying themselves. It's fun for you to watch for a few seconds. After a few seconds, that's not fun to watch because it is a sport, it is a fighting, but that's not it's not emotional, you know. But when the camera moves from the robots and they start filming the humans celebrating, the humans that are nervous controlling the robots, then you get connected to them. But while you are just watching the robots destroying themselves, there is no connection. So when I started drawing, I was working with advertising. I was an art director. And I didn't start drawing for money. Okay, it was I'm going to earn money from illustration. I was doing that for fun. I was really frustrated in the art direction scene because I was an art director and also the owner of an advertising agency. It was 17 years ago in 29. I was so frustrated with the creative part of my job because most of my time I was on client meetings. I was dealing with the team, with my partner at the time. And the creative part was really operational back then. So I started to draw to express that to let that creativity flow, get out of it was trapped inside me. I wanted that creativity to get out of me. So I started to draw. So I didn't start doing this for money. And even though my work today is commercial, today I get money from my work. Uh, Today I'm changing the relationship with illustration. It's not just for you to have an idea of how my relationship with my illustrations. The majority of my career, I can say like for 15 years, I didn't used to draw for fun. I was drawing only when there was a client brief, only when there was a client involved. So I was the guy that didn't used to study to practice a lot. You know that draw every day. I tell this to my students, but I don't do that on a daily basis. Today I'm doing it more. But for me, every time that I was doing a client work, that's the place that I was experimenting. I was all the time delivering what the client expected, what the client saw on my portfolio. But I was all the time experimenting a little bit, like 5%. So every new job, I was improving myself, involving my art a little bit. So I wasn't the guy that was drawing every time. But now I'm doing this, not every day, but like 3 drawings per week. That for me, that's a lot, okay? To inform on the way that with my relationship. But now I don't draw only thinking about portfolio. I don't draw only thinking about the market that I want to enter, that I want to get more jobs. Today I draw with for a way of connecting me and with me, to create a connection with me and my art. And the fun thing is that more people are starting to connect with the kind of art that I'm doing. Let me get just a second, just let me get the illustration that I'm doing today, okay? Just a second. Here we are. So this is the kind of drawing that I'm doing now. I'm really going into children illustration, kid elite art. This is not finished yet, okay? But this is the kind of drawing. And if you still don't know, haven't seen my work, my commercial work, there was a stage that I was drawing the search and find illustrations. Let me see if I have something here, because I take it all the time out of the, it's easier to get to my portfolio, just for me to show to you. It's completely different from this kind of work. No, I'm not lose time here showing you. You can just check victorbering.com, okay? You can see the kind of work. It's really different, the kind of drawing that I'm doing now. I am allowing so much more space for mistakes, for experimentation on my work now, because the relationship is different. When I was drawing commercially, only commercially, I was anxious all the time. I really wanted to finish the illustration soon. That's why I stopped doing search and find. Imagine this, having this anxiety and you needing to be spending like 40, 50, 60 hours on the illustration. It was pure anxiety. So now I'm doing really quicker drawings, so I don't have this kind of anxiety, but I am connecting with the process. And I do know that this may sound romantic. Oh, connect with the process, love the process, but it's really true. And this is the point. Coming back to the beginning, this is something that only we can understand. I don't see a lawyer being connected with the when he's writing a sentence, for example. An accountant doing a spreadsheet, feeling the flow of creating a spreadsheet. Well, maybe if the person loves maths and everything in science and that kind of stuff, maybe they enter on a flow state. But in my opinion, as I am from the art scenario, I think only we can understand this. So that's why, if at any point in our career we need to, we may be forced, comma and comma, forced to use AI in the process, to use AI to create everything. I'm going to be creating commercial illustration. I don't believe this is going to happen. Okay, I'm going to be talking a little bit more now. Okay, but if we need, let's say in the future, I prefer to leave the illustration and start doing only art. Yeah. So, but let's say we're talking about the relationship with AI. Can AI help us? I do believe so. As I said, I use it on a daily basis. When I'm creating a contract, I have an agent to write the contract. When I need to send a quote to a client, I have an agent to prepare the PDF. It's awesome. I just need the project details and boom, there's the PDF ready. You know, that that part that is not so fun in our work, the bureaucracy, AI can help us with that. We are getting to a state that you guys have seen the Moldbot or CloudBot, that you install the agent on a machine, on a separate machine for security, and it can buy a car for you, it can do the groceries, it can buy a trip and everything. It can answer clients. So we are going to get to that stage. It's our dream. All the artists always wanted, and that's why many artists want to have an agent. Oh, because then I'm going to be focusing only on drawing. Yeah. So we are going to get to a place that the agent, not the agent, the AI agent can be doing cold outreach. The AI agent can start answering emails and that kind of things. It's a personal assistant. This can happen. For us artists, doing the bad part, the boring, not the bad part, the boring part for us. You know, you guys, I am 43 years old. I am old school. I am a millennial. So I have I'm really skeptical about this kind of things, but it sounds good, you know? But now, let's say another place that AI can help you. When you are having difficulties with colors, you don't need to use, and I don't advise you doing this, but you can use AI to help you to see things on a different view. Okay? It doesn't need to be on the final illustration, but as a study, it can help you. When you are stuck on composition, when you need to have different posing on your illustrations, okay, you can use that. And this, I'm talking about AI on chat, like ChatGPT and Gemini and that kind of thing. But when you see AI inside of the tools, like inside of Photoshop, you can use it in more detail, like specific parts of the illustration, and you can use it to develop. So AI can help you to overcome your weak points. Your weak points where you get stuck, usually get stuck. A lot of people, a lot of students of mine get stuck on colors. You can have a different view like that. Again, I'm not saying that I use this, and I'm not saying that I think you should be doing this, and I'm going to explain why. But I'm just bring you here the scenario where it can be helping you. Okay. And again, guys, I'm not entering the ethic part of AI here. I do understand, I do know all the bad shit that the companies in this industry have done, stealing our work to create, to be training and creating everything that we have seen. Okay. And another part, when you need to have a completely different point of view. I'm doing some illustrations for a snack company, new snack company for kids. And I have sent us for the client, like, for example, I think it's more than 10 options for the same illustrations. It never gets approved, never gets approved. And then I started to see, let me try to use AI to have a completely different point of view from this illustration. And the AI created a really shitty image for me, really bad. But from that shitty image, I could see, this is bad, but I can try to do this kind of thing. It pointed me to another direction, you know. So this kind of thing, I think, it can help us. But now let me tell you where I see, and this now I'm talking about as an illustrator and also art director. Okay, where AI can spoil you, or where can AI be bad for you to use? When AI enters in the development of your final illustration, this is going to be bad. AI doesn't have a creative opinion, a creative view. AI only replicates what it sees on the internet. AI is not able to create something new. And I do believe, guys, because of that, we are on a period of time that is going to be studied like 50 years from now on. They're going to be studying now, because I am sure that new kind of visuals are going to be emerging at this exact time. Probably, maybe you are the person that is going to be disrupting the illustration industry. Maybe there's maybe my kid who is 7 years old that is coming with a completely new view of art and the world is going to create something completely different. We are living this time now. So I'm saying this because AI is not capable of creating something new. Yeah. Let's think of for a moment. What is the steps when you are creating illustration? First, you're going to be doing some research of references, concepts. Then you'll be thinking about the concept of your illustration, the message, your personal context, your personal background that you're going to be putting on illustration, the themes. Then you're going to be experimenting, creating thumbnails, different compositions. You're going to be testing. After that, you choose the thumbnail, you're going to be detailing a sketch, you're going to be developing that sketch. After that, you're going to be going to colors, and then you're going to be going to the finishing part. Okay? So on each of these steps is an opportunity for you to put your artistic view. If you look into on the research, if you look into different places than me, you are already going to have a different kind of illustration than mine, even if you will draw the same way. So the research, that's why I'm really sad when I see people researching for references and everything every time on Behance, then on Pinterest, or the same places. If you're using the same ingredients, the final recipe probably is going to be tasting the same. They're going to be different because there are other stages, but if you use the same ingredients, probably you're going to be doing the same kind of cake. Yeah. On the concept, the message, your personal context. ChatGPT, please tell me. I want to create a character for a children's book. Give me some ideas. The possibility of you doing the same kind of work or generic work is huge. So, guys, draw things that you see on your everyday. Draw your city. Draw your country. We have in Brazil, guys. I don't live in the. It's not. We don't have only favelas here in Brazil, but we have a term, a word here that's not so favela, but it's a periferia. It's something like the suburb, but it's a simple community. Okay, there is a guy. What is his name now? I forgot his name. There's a guy in Brazil that he draws the communities, the favelas, and everything. Only by that itself, his work is unique. You see, if I try to draw that place that is not my reality, I'm not going to be creating something, I'm not going to be creating a deep work. He who lives in there is the best person to draw that place. He's going to be deep on the concept, on the references, and the things that happen. For example, another example, I have 2 kids. For me, it's really easier to draw 2 kids fighting for the last piece of nugget on the table. It happened now in lunch today. Than someone who doesn't have kids. That doesn't mean, of course, that you need to have kids to draw for children's books. That's not what I'm saying. But if I put on my illustrations something that I live by every day, that I see every day, that I know deeply, this is something that can differentiate my work from yours, you know? And then experimentations. The more you experiment on the thumbs, the more chances of you creating a unique composition. I have tried to study composition with AI. Guys, it's really, really, really bad. Really bad. All the same, every time. So again, on the experimentation, on the thumbs, it's another opportunity for you to put your creative voice. When you're going to be detailing your illustration, your sketch, some people love details, other people hate details. That's differentiation, the kind of details until where you're going to be going. Colors. I have tried to draw snow, for example. But even though I live on a cold part of Brazil here in the south, it's cold. We have winter with frost and everything, but we don't have snow here. I have tried to draw snow. But if you live on a country that you see snow every day, the probability of you drawing a more a deeper snow, a more detailed snow, a more true snow, it's bigger for you than me, you know? And if you try to draw an araucaria, there is a tree here from Brazil. I have one on my house here. I can go deeper on the details. So again, your personal background, your personal context. If you put that on your illustration, you're going to be having a more unique work. Does it make sense? So if you put AI on the research or on the concept or on the thumbs, on the details, on the colors and finishing part, the more you put AI on each of these steps, the bigger the chances of you creating a do work. I was talking 2 weeks ago with one of my students, Taina, and she was showing my work. Her work is amazing. And she was building her portfolio. She's a graphic designer, and she was building her illustration portfolio. And she was trying to enter the, what is the word? Pattern. She was creating patterns for fashion, okay? Really beautiful patterns, really beautiful illustrations. But I was looking, okay, it's nice, but I didn't say this to her at that moment, but I was feeling it was generic. And then she said, it was a one by one session. And then she said, but Victor, I have some personal work here, but I'm not going to put on my portfolio because it's too personal. And then she showed me an illustration created by hand with oil pastels. And that thing was, it was like a tiger, and there was some magic symbols in the forehead of the tiger. It's with uh, psychedelic colors, really beautiful and really, really, really unique. And then she said, I'm not going to put this on my portfolio because it's too much personal. And then I looked into her, looked to her and said, Taina, this is exactly what you should be putting on your portfolio. And there her eyes were like big. She was really surprised. And she said, but Victor, nobody's going to hire me to do this. And then I looked into her and said, I do believe that the probability of you getting hired is exactly by this kind of work. And then she started to tell me that she studies magic and dark magic, and there was chaos magic. I had never heard about chaos magic. Have you guys know this? Chaos magic. And all the symbolism and the icons and everything, there was a meaning to for her. And that she had on her Google Drive a really solid work based on magic. And then I said, oh my God, Taina, you need to go for this. You're going to be doing this for editorial, for publishing, for everything. And I said, even advertising. And then she started to show me that some of her patterns, she was putting some of those symbols into those patterns. And I said, okay, those can live side by side on your portfolio because they are talking they are talking to each other. Visually they were speaking the same language, even though different markets. So when I said this to her, her eyes started to shine because she told me that she was building her portfolio for the pattern, and she was not happy. It was boring. She was procrastinating because what she really wanted to do was that other kind of work. And then I said, how do you expect to be living by illustration, get your income from illustration in the next years if you're not, you are already feeling bored with the kind of work that you are putting on your portfolio? And I said, you're doing the same thing. You're getting married without loving that kind of art. That's not sustainable, no? And again, I do know that for you this may sound romantic, but you need to love the kind of work that you do because you're going to go deeper on your work, and the client on the other side is going to feel this. Okay? The client on the other side is going to feel this. There's going to be a connection. So again, use AI everywhere, but on your creative process, on your final image. You can study, you can try to see other things, but don't put that into your work, okay? All the creative process, put the more you can of you. We are living on the age of connection. And if you look for the Fast Company in December published an article where they said that the agencies, advertising agencies in the US are already getting back to the handmade work. Advertising is really quick in adopting trends and adopting technologies, and they went really quick to AI. But what happened then? Every work was looking the same. Even if the idea was different, the concept was different, the final result was looking the same. And not on illustration, photography, films, and everything. The art directors were getting bored, so they have already started coming back to handmade work. And then if you look into Creative Boom, there is also an article where they say 2026 is the year of the handmade work. Of course, guys, I do know that a lot of clients are adopting. Some clients are going to adopt in the future AI. That happens. Okay, but let's think like this. What can you do? What can you do to keep your work relevant, to keep calling attention of clients? What do I do now? First, try to think and create different things than AI. AI reads the internet. AI reads Behance. AI reads Photoshop, even though they say that it doesn't do it, but we have been there, yeah. So always try to think to create something that is not on the internet yet. Put more and more of you on your work, your daily living, your experiences, your opinion, your symbolisms. There is an artist that I love. I hope you know him. That it's Pat Perry. Pat, P-A-T, Perry. He is from the US. I have some originals from him. I really love this guy. I do remember that like 15 years ago, something like that, he had some collection of arts that he was painting and drawing the trains from USA, trains in these small cities and everything, these stations, really deep work. And then one day he posted that he jumped on a train and he was following that train for like 60 days. And he was doing that illegally, you know, he was hiding in the train. And guys, how can I draw a train in a better way than him? There's another artist, Maria Ciurina. She's from the UK, I think so. And then she, like 2 years ago, she spent like 1 or 2 months on a residency in Iceland. Again, guys, her work was really amazing after that. It was already amazing, but it came even better after that. So you need to put what you are leaving on your work. If you love coffee, draw coffee, all kinds of coffee. If you are a single mom, draw your experiences. If you live on a really cold place and the bathroom is outside of the house, draw that experience. Bring your life storytelling to your illustrations, even if you don't want to work with publishing with an editorial. Bring your storytelling, guys. Experiment a lot. Do a lot of experimentations, techniques, themes. For example, this illustration I showed you before here, it's on a different way. I had never used, what is the name? When you the liquid you use to mix painting. In Brazil, it's solvente. I'm not sure. Let's use the translator. Translate solvente to English. Solvent. Yeah, that's solvent. That's the word. It was the first time here. Oh, it's amazing. A whole new world open in front of me. And also experiment a lot. And one thing that is important, guys, try to go after different markets. I think it's really dangerous for you to go, now that we are in this age of AI, it's really dangerous for you to target only one market, only children's book, only gaming, only advertising. Sorry. In the beginning of the pandemics of COVID, I was working with advertising and also editorial. Guys, the first months, the advertising industry stopped. I remember that Coca-Cola stopped her investment in advertising for 6 months. My advertising clients were gone. But the editorial was, there was a boom in the editorial because everybody was giving news of the COVID. So there was a lot of illustration being used. If I didn't have my portfolio targeted to different markets, I was going to be screwed by them by that time. No, so now it's really more is even more important now for you to target different markets. So, for example, if you want to draw, if you draw for a children's book, start drawing for children, not only books. Draw for children because if you draw for children, you can also work for advertising, editorial, games, and publishing, for example. It's important now, guys. You have seen the news. An artist that was like 20 years in the same company, in the gaming industry, in the animation industry, and got laid off because that company started using AI. I think it's really important now for us to have this diversification, for security. In Brazil, I don't know how I don't know how this is happening in Europe and North America, but the caricature when there you draw those funny faces, for example, in Brazil, some of my students said that clients stopped asking everything for them. They lost that industry, and they were working only with that kind of client. Then suddenly they didn't have any clients anymore. So it's important for you to be trying different things, okay? So how do I see the future of our industry? How do I see the future of our profession with AI? And again, guys, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know how things are going to be like in 10 years. The next 3, it's possible, but next 10, But what I am doing, remember, I just remember in the first 2 episodes, I mentioned that I had a burnout and depression, and I started studying and go deep in my spirituality and my self-development. Yeah. And I understood that we can choose if things are going to be good or bad. We don't have control of what is going to be happening in the future, but we do have control on how we react to things. Okay? So I always say that for me, the future with AI is going to be awesome, wonderful, and amazing. And I'm going to be drawing traditionally with no AI because I am choosing this way. If you have already studied something or have read something about NLP, neuro-linguistic NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, you understand this. But in a practical way, what I see happening in the future? Really defined markets. Some companies and some professionals are going to be adopting and are adopting and loving AI. And there's another market, another part of the world that is rejecting and is going deeper with the connections and hiring and giving value to human work. Yeah. So the more and more what is happening now is that illustrators are being hired not only by the art itself, but also by what the artist represents. So it's important for you now to be appearing on social media. You don't need to be dancing. You don't need to be speaking to the camera like I do, but show your routine, show your context, show your background, show where you live, show your opinion and your thoughts. And in the future, what I see more and more happening also is that artists need more and more to have a notion, to have an understanding of art direction. So start consuming more art, start drawing more. Remember that I said that I am not the guy that draws every day, but draw more, practice more. Maybe in the future, if the future of we are forced to be using AI, I'm sure that there is going to be a lot of opportunities for art directors directing teams of both humans and AI. Of course, they are going to be directing humans using AI, not AI itself. But the notion and understanding of art direction is really important. Okay? And what I have been seeing now happening already, and this is strong for in the next 3 to 4 years, more and more traditional art, especially in the markets that are targeted to the masses, like advertising, games. As I said, companies in the US are already coming back to the handmade work. Why does this happen, guys? Because companies, they want to sell. We want to sell our service, our illustration to clients, and the companies, they want to sell to the final consumer. And if their product, their services started to look all the same, they're not going to be having that differentiation. So this is what is happening in the advertising industry. Things are going to starting to be looking the same. There's no differentiation, and then there's no competition. Then the companies are starting to fight only for pricing. That's why they're coming back, to have differentiation. Okay. So again, as I mentioned before, guys, I really would love to be talking about the creation and the mindset from us, the mentality, health, mental health. Yeah, take care of the focus that you're going to be giving in the future. It can be really bad and it can be really, really wonderful. I see the future with excitement. Not because I believe that it's going to be all butterflies and rainbows and wonderful. But I do know, and I create this for myself, that is going to be wonderful. And because I see the whole picture, something that I have learned, guys, is this really sentence here. It is what it is. What really changes is how you react to things. You know, I have this is something personal. It's not even written on my on my script here for today's episode. Um, for me, I'm really afraid of debt from banks. Guys, in Brazil, the annual interest is around 15%. For you to buy a house, you're going to be paying 12% per year of interest. When I was living in Portugal and I saw that the interest was around 2% per year, I said, oh my God, this is so easy. Because we are used here in Brazil with huge interest. So I am really afraid of interest, of debt, okay? But at the same time, I have seen people that they use debt on a daily basis. And sometimes they don't even pay. They wait for the bank to be going after them and they start to negotiate that debt. And then suddenly they pay like 30% of the whole debt. And for me, this is something that is really bad. I would never do something like that. But again, is debt bad or good? It depends on how you react to it. For me, it's bad. But for other people, it's common. You know? So again, everything is the way that it is. Everything is neutral. We can give this bad reaction to it. I remember on the last days that I was in Lisbon, I went to an ashram. Ashram is a place, a temple from the Hinduism. There was a celebration. It was my first time on the ashram. There was a celebration. It was really awesome. And then after some time, I took my car. I was going back home. And I was on a really narrow road. And I was going with the car. And then suddenly a guy came and entered. He was in the beginning of the road. There was no place that I could go. So he started to go backwards. Yeah. So he changed the engine and started to go backwards. But he didn't see that there was a woman on a car behind him. And boom, they crashed. And then I said, oh my God. And then I started passing with my car on beside them to see if they needed help. But both of them got out of the car smiling. And then I thought to myself, guys, you have just crashed your car. Why are you smiling? It is what it is. For them, of course, they were not happy because of the car crash, you know? But they were happy because nothing happened to them. And they probably they thought that that was something that's not the biggest problem in the world, you know? So again, guys, if you start to live by this way, things start to get really easier. Life start to get really easier for you. Things start to look more happier for you, you know. And again, I do understand that it may sound naive, it may sound romantic, but it is what it is. Again, it is what it is. Okay. Again, guys, why I'm saying this? Because I do believe that we can choose how we can react to all the AI news. Every time, every day you enter Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, you're going to be listening to someone that's saying that illustration is the illustration skilled, the death of illustration, and now what our artists are going to be doing. And people have been saying this for the past 5 years, and we are still here. We are still here, different, but here, you know. So, and I do believe that if you breathe, see things in a better way, you start to realize that you are enough, that you have everything that you need now. Life start to get more lighter, easier, you know? Guys, life is never going to be perfect. Never. There's always going to be something. Only when I resolve this, life is going to be better. Oh, but then I have it resolved now. Well, but life's not better. What happened? Because there is that other thing happening. But after I resolve that, then I'm going to be happy. I was that guy. I am that guy. I'm still working on this. When you finally realize that you are enough, that you can be happy now, things start to get better. No? Guys, I do know that this is out of the illustration context. But again, I love talking about this kind of thing. I think we have, as I said, as humans, before being artists, we are humans. And I think that this kind of connection, this kind of thoughts, this kind of feeling, it's what really moves us on. And I do believe that the creation process has everything to do with that kind of connection. Today I draw to meditate. Today I draw to connect myself with God. I was the guy that used to draw only for money, only for projects, or only to draw for big companies. I still do that, yeah, but in a different way. Okay, so again, this is my mission also with the Illustra Coffee, to have this kind of conversation. If it makes sense to you, you can write to me. You can send message to me on Instagram. Okay. Hope you guys have liked or have loved this episode today. Let's all the time keep creating. Okay. And if you have just come here, have just known me, I do have a course. It's called Ilustra Sales, and it's completely focused on getting clients, on building your portfolio, on creating a body of work that is connected with you, and then finding the clients that are connected with the kind of work that you do. Again, this is my mission here. So if you want to know this, to know more, you can just let me put the link on the chat here. Just a second. And if you are listening to the description or to the recording, you can find the link here on the description of on Spotify or also on YouTube. Okay. So guys, hope you have liked this episode, and I see you next week. Bye.
Fires of anarchy, tears of the sea, ain't no good in me, no stopping me. Heading to the top, never gonna stop, can't make me stop. Unstoppable. 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 As I rise, it's no surprise. I'm your fear in the flesh, can't make me stop. Heading to the top, never gonna stop, can't make me stop. Unstoppable.